Morning, boys. So today I figure we'll look at composition. Now, composition is super important, but it's very tricky. So there can be a whole range of techniques and strategies you'll use to frame up your photo really nicely. So I figure we'll go through some photos and see what you think. We'll try and match up my intention with taking these photos, what I hope to achieve, and then realistically look at what I actually did achieve. Okay, so I'll leave it up to you whether or not you think some of these photos are successful or not. So let's get to it. So I thought I'd start with this photo, which I absolutely love. I was so happy with this. So I used the buildings and the road to almost frame Santa up above. And the focal point, again, is Santa's face. So the part which is sharpest, the part that you can see the most detail of, is Santa's face. And I love how I managed to just about squeeze his face between the traffic light and the building. You can see a couple of horizontal rule of thirds sort of lines fitting in here as well to strengthen up the photo. And I really like how bright it is on that billboard compared to the relative darkness of the street. Okay, so I've included this photo because I think it's so much about opportunity. It's one of these photos where, and if you don't see this already, then I totally understand. But what I was trying to do is I saw this man wearing a green top walking down the road, and the green man light just behind him on the other side of the street. I just thought that it would be this really cool thing where he would almost be mimicking the green light without knowing it. Anyway, I got the shot. I don't know if it's entirely successful, but I'm so happy I was there for that very moment. So this next photo is very much about a few things like texture and near and far. I just absolutely love the light and the shade on this, which is why I've turned it into a black and white photograph. So in post-processing in Photoshop, turn it to black and white because I just love that chrome, the lovely look of those binoculars in the foreground. I think it makes the Empire State look almost like a toy. And you can see as well that the focal point, the detail is in the foreground, and that was very selective and intentional. So this next photo I thought I'd show you because I think it's slightly less successful than the previous one. I've changed the angle very slightly to give a kind of dynamic effect feeling to this experience of looking down upon the city from Trump Tower. And you can see that there's almost a gradient of dark up to light in this photo from the bottom to the top of the photo. And I've just given a slither of the horizon as well, which was intentional. Okay, so the reason I've chosen this photograph is it's probably one of my best examples of the rule of thirds. So the figure that's slightly to the left with the headlights just to her eye, she's very much on the thirds line, the vertical thirds. And yet I think the hero of this piece is not the focus. Okay, so if you scan the scene a little bit more with your eyes, you'll notice this lady with the wheelchair pushing the chair up a curb. So I think there's a real strong narrative to this, but the structure is there. Okay, so the reason I wanted to show this photo is because it includes text and because it's so dramatic in the contrast between the white and the black of the road and the road marking. So also, what I wanted to show is a little bit about how messy this city is. New York is just a mess, so I thought I'd include a bit of rubbish. I really like the yellow cabs as well. They're just so iconic and beautiful. But this idea of the line markings being in reverse, so as you're driving down the road, you'd read fire lane, so that's for the fire engines. But from above, you read it as lane fire, which sort of changes the whole meaning altogether, which I thought was hilarious. Anyway, so look, I love this photo. I love the reflection off the road. So at about a third vertically, you can see on the left of that, you can see there must be a gap above that between the buildings because you can see a little bit of light coming through. All right, well, that's about it. Now, I thought I'd just share those few photos and I guess some of the strengths and strategies that I tried to take in creating these photos. I hope you like them. You might not have, but that's okay. You might have taken one or two ideas out of what I've just presented, and that'd be great because then you can apply those to your own photos. Good luck, boys. Take some great photos.